Hello, welcome to Camp Chair Chats, and we have just gone straight to the top, and we are pulling in Linda Woodhead from Mocha, who was running the AHIA competitions. What an event! What a great night! How are you feeling?
Kind of like I've been hit by a truck.
Is that how you always feel after your events?
It's a big one because unlike all of our other ones, which will also stick, there's a lot of bells and whistles go into this, and so the lead up to it is massive. Obviously, with the shows, with wanting to make sure that's all platformed well, and at the end of the day, it's all about the awards. But you've also, my big thing is if people are going to pay good money to go to something like that, they need to be entertained, they need good food, they need lots of drinks. We extended drinks for an hour this year, so they've got 5 hours to drink instead of 4.
Well done.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I got the fish. I got the fish, by the way, and I was pretty happy with it. Swapped with my +1 Gareth because you can roll.
Yeah, I wasn't there.
And he's like, "Oh, I don't really want to have fish." Yeah, we did a little swap, so I took it on the chin, and it was actually delicious.
Basically, I choose what I like to eat, so you're all like down to me. Which choosing the menu is a fun one. But yeah, look, we've had really good feedback. I think we want to do something a bit different this year.
It was a great show. Bernie smashed it.
It was amazing. It was like something off of Fashion Week from YSL. Like it was really, really cool. We wanted to pay honour to the collection that she won with in 25. Natalie, obviously, wanted to do something that's quite different. It's probably more the commercial side, and it was stunning and beautiful and blue and lovely. And the middle bit, I really wanted to create a moment. We've never actually had a hairdresser do something on stage before. They normally do it, behind and then bring it out.
Yeah.
So the fact that we had the showman, magician, maestro, Jean-Baptiste come over from Paris was just
very good.
insane and so cool. And back to a lot of people have said, "Oh, it's like back to the old days of great shows with Hair Expo." We took over from them, and so it's given us 5 years to kind of bed it in. And I thought I got up out of my seat and came around and said I could watch him in this stage that we made for him, and when he was wafting around his hair, it was incredible. Moment.
I've heard really good things about that.
Yeah, it was actually awesome. Like normally, not talking them down in the past, but I guess they have shows, but it's not really hair related. And me, I get distracted really easily. I tend to be outside at the bar. I'm walking around the table. I actually sat at my table for so long, despite me not getting a choice of my food or who I got to sit next to. Guess who I got to sit next to?
Who did you sit next to?
Fiona Beamish, the CEO of the AHC. And I was like, oh, here we go. I'm going to make a dick of myself here. And I had the greatest night with them. So thank you. And I actually sat and watched the whole thing and didn't even want to get up. It was actually great. It was a really, really good show. So props to you for doing it. I had a ball.
It's a big one.
Look,
it's really cool. I think it's like you've got to have that mix of the shows. Obviously, for me, I've got to keep all my sponsors happy, so I've got to make sure that
why?
Enough branding on that. We've got to pay the bills, and then obviously just to try and sort of section, how you do the awards, when you do the certain ones. Obviously, the Hall of Fame that we did with Lorna Evans was just beautiful.
Very deserving. We all love Lorna.
After 3 years, because if you win, for a certain period of time, if you win 3 in a row, which Stevie you've done as well, you're out for 2, and then you come back. He came back with a vengeance, and
it was a very strong collection.
Beautiful collection again. I had a couple of the New Zealand finalists come up to me and go, "Oh God, he's back."
Yeah.
Because he's so awesome. And then I think with the final one with Scott Stein winning, it was such a popular win and just such a beautiful collection. I watched your the podcast leading up, as I said on the night, which I loved. So thank you guys for doing that because it was insane. It's so cool. It was fun. It was awesome. I kind of had a mental note of the ones that you'd bet on, which was also fun because I knew which ones obviously had won. So to see who was right, who was wrong.
So I was right more.
Stevie got up more than you.
Yeah,
Yes,
by quite a
yes.
bit actually.
Look, to be fair, I haven't been to the awards for a year or two. I'm a little bit out of touch.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, because every other time I've been exhibiting, so I've
Yeah.
never been able to get there. So,
I feel like those sometimes the ones that you picked, because Stevie got to pick
but
first, you had to
100%
pick
that's what it
something
was.
else.
Oh yeah, sure.
So if you'd have got first choice on all of them, because you both picked quite a few, then yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, if we could give them to everyone, we would. There's so much work
Would
goes
you really,
into
though?
it,
Would
and
you really?
I really
What, a participation award?
not about that.
Yeah.
My kids were literally, if you're not first, you
Yeah.
haven't won.
But
But no, I think we've spoken about it too. I just sort of, it was partly why we wanted to send all the photos out to everyone so that they could put them up in their salons. Realize that for me, it's always been about what you want to do, what you love doing, branding. I think people that shoot for themselves always shoot better than those that shoot just for a competition, and they can use it in their marketing and in everything for 12 months. Like, it's a big investment, so they should be,
and I think for
using
me
it for
that's the
that.
one thing that some people miss is that they're
Yeah.
actually shooting for their marketing. They're shooting for their windows. They're shooting
100%.
to try and get clients in. So Scott's collection, for example, was a perfect example of that.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
and I think you said that some of the younger people hadn't seen them printed, like how we used to have them always printed and mounted and stuff.
Yeah. We got a lot of, when we sent all the photos out, we sent the decals on the which we've never done, and we're just about to send all the winner ones out. It is a big expense because Australian Post and printing and all the rest of it, but they loved it. And the young ones especially were like, oh my God, these look so good printed. I would never have thought to print them. I'm like, what? You have to print them. You have to put them up in the salons. And they've, I think Kerry DeMattia, she sent me a little video of when she'd got them back, because she'd already got them printed and framed, and she's got the black and white ones, she's got the color ones. Like, you've got to use it for that, It
Oh,
can't just
100%.
be about the awards.
Aren't organised people like Kerry just so
Yeah.
frustrating?
Oh, she's great.
She's
Ke-
very
Kez-
organised.
Kez
I
is-
think,
Kez
I
is
think
fab.
they arrived back in the salon like 2 days after for her to get back from Sydney. So, and then sent me the picture of her unwrapping them with the beautiful frames. And she can flip things off the back, and then she can alternate them. So sometimes she'll have one, and the other time she'll have the other.
It's funny
She's
very
organised.
When I was shooting, and I would print them out, but I would print them flipped as well, and so I would look at different versions, what they could look like as a six together.
Telling a story.
Yeah, to try to tell the story. So, and that was always my visual way. And so anybody that I sort of speak to, I always suggest doing that. So if you're listening, they would be listening to Camp Chair Chats.
You hope so, wouldn't
But
you?
yeah.
Hopefully.
But for me, you should always print it. You should, and they look different printed to on your screen.
Yeah. I think it's really interesting to think about, how much you can use them. It's not, as I said, about the competitions. I think anything you do in a creative way, especially if you're a salon owner, you've got to look at different ways that you can then use that in marketing. I remember talking to you, Stevie, years ago when you used to do like the Gen Next shows that Hair Expo used to put on. And I remember saying, why do you do it? And as much as the fact it's an amazing thing to do with your team as a collaborative, creative thing, for you said to me it was also about recruitment, which is clever, because then it's like people look at you and your salon and go, that's a cool crowd. I want to be part of that. And so it's like, not always having an ulterior motive, but just being sensible and clever in how you use shows, photos, education.
Well, how you use your budget as well. How you use your budget for the year.
Totally.
And if anyone wants a job, I am looking. Was there, for you, Linda, was there surprises for people who entered, or was there, or a surprise from judges? Like for me, I was sure about who was going to win international, because that was the one that stood out for me when I was judging, and I would have been really surprised if that didn't win. But was there something that judges liked that you were surprised about?
Not really. It kind of, sometimes it can vary. Like, if you get a lot of people in a category, international's a big category. Colorist this year was huge. I mean, I think we had as many people not get through as get through. Like it
Yeah.
was massive. And we do that. There is like a benchmark in terms of sort of numbering and scoring and all that kind of thing. I think that, you know, usually
Pete's got a
when it comes to
question.
big-
All right, I've been dying
Okay.
to ask this one, and I always want to know because people do say it as well. It's like, why there's so many finalists? Like how do you determine? I know in the old days there just used to be 4 and stuff like that, but I think
Yeah.
I get one side of it is if you're close, then you should be as part of that finalist group. How do you actually determine how many finalists there are? Like, because I don't really even know.
Fully transparent. There are some categories where we don't get as many entries, like absolutely, and then there are some that we get loads, and it's quite common in terms of, or it's quite the same. So for example, things like colorist, cutter, those kind of ones, there's always loads that come in. There would be some where there's not as many. So you know, I think the way that it's basically judged and the way that then, so for example, if you do have a category where there's loads in, and then you've got to kind of like cut it and go, well, those below that line don't get in and those that do. The way that the system works, and we've always done this, is that it's a ranking system. So if you do it by points, the way that some used to do, different judges can do different things. So let's say if we were doing hot shots or if we're doing international, which is the 2 that the Australians judge, Stevie might judge it in one way and then somebody else might judge it in another way. And so if you've got somebody who's really kind and kind of goes, right, well, I'm just going to, let's say there's 25 in the category, and let's give everyone somewhere between 20 and 24, and then the top one 25. And then you have a different judge that goes, oh no, I'm going to do a rank. So I'm going to go from 1 to 25. It doesn't work, because that one judge that gives that one person 1 could completely upset the apple cart. So to do it on points has never worked and never works, because it can change the judging either meaningfully or not.
Yeah.
So when you do it on a
Yeah.
ranking system, it's a bit like a political kind of thing. Everyone has to rank. So if there's 25 in it, they have to rank from 1 to 25. 1 is actually the top, 25 is the bottom. So your first choice, and then it goes down. So you're basically forcing every single judge to judge in the same way. That's the key, to make sure that that is then correct in terms of who judges for the right ones.
Cool. We don't have a preference system after that, where our votes then, if they're eliminated, then go on to another political party and stuff.
There is a secondary preference one. If you get, I think we've only ever had it maybe 3 times, where if you get the top one, if you get a draw at the top, then it will do a secondary add up kind of in the algorithm, where it will look at how many 1s you have and how many 2s and 3s, and so then it can still determine who the winner is.
We've got the most ones.
I'm assuming
Where
that
we
happened
work
to me
out
quite a
then
lot.
where that kind of benchmark is, I guess, is that you normally find that if you've got, you know, with the number of judges that we have, so in total there's like 80 plus judges across all of the categories.
And your judges are international?
So basically, all of the international judges judge all of the categories with the exception of international. They don't judge their own. They do also do hot shots. They do everything except international. And then the Australian judges that we pull in, they judge just international, because I've always felt if internationals judge you guys, then you have the right to judge them. And then our Australians also judge hot shots. So hot shots is judged by everyone.
Yeah.
And the rest of it is all. And the reason we do that, and it's not just British, it's American, we've got Indian, we've got Canadian, we've got Asian, we've got everywhere. It gives it a really good kind of benchmark across. It means that we don't have to recuse people for knowing people, and it's like, it's really clean, because then it's that sort of, you know, and also because the international judges love it, because they do say they feel that Australia has always been pretty much at a forefront when it comes to, you know, forecasting trends.
I like the word better.
That kind of
I
thing.
like the word better.
We are better. Okay, let's just go there. We are better, and they look at what we're doing and what we produce.
Okay, well, that's interesting to know, because I always thought, like, if it's an Australian award, why aren't we getting Australian people to vote on it?
I think it's
I
just
get
really
why you're doing
hard.
that as well, because you don't, like, I guess you know people's work. Like, I could probably, and even though I haven't done a lot of judging, I can see someone's work and I almost know who that is.
Yeah.
And
People have styles.
yeah.
I also
It's it's very hard to be unbiased. I think it's just like a natural human nature thing, and I think that it it's always the way why we've done that. There's a lot of other awards in the world that do similar things. I think it just means that it's not that it's anonymous. It's more so it's the fact that it's not people in your backyard, and also if you might have trained somebody, you might have worked with somebody, you might have done a collab with somebody. I just think it's really hard to be completely unbiased. It's a bit like when you were doing your critiques and stuff. It's like if you had something to do with one, like Stevie did with his own and stuff, then you recuse yourself from that. You don't, because
I always would.
Never ever. I'll be using that.
team, you got the win. Congrats for that. And look, just going back to that, so that I can let everyone know too. When we have we can't put 20-25 people in categories. Like the night, for example, would be too long. And I do also think that we have a duty to sort of people need to aspire to. It's not a participation thing. This is it is a competition. Let's just be very clear. It is a competition. And so for the people that have really worked hard and we get people that enter that don't get through, that after maybe 3 or 4 years they do come in, or they come in first time. When we look at the judging points, let's say you've got 20-25, there is usually a very clear space, and it's done on a mathematical thing, but there is usually a clear space where when you add them all up, because the lowest number is the one that wins, because that's first, there'll suddenly be a jump. There's always there's a gap and there's a big jump. And so when you've got people that are getting the bottom space kind of judging consistently across everyone, then sadly it just means that they're not going to get through to the finalists. However, we do we also reach out to those people, we chat to those people, we kind of say, look, we don't ever divulge judging or anything, but if we can help, we've got Jared obviously, who is a photographer and from the creative side, that can kind of give them a few pointers. And we're not about trying to knock people enter. We're about trying to build them up to get them to come back in again with something better. So
I think that's really important, the whole feedback thing. I think that's part of why we wanted to do this a little bit as well, as just to give that a little bit of feedback. And I think it creates a conversation, and I think people do this work, they get an award, but it'd be really nice for them to obviously have their work critiqued, but also learn how to get better. I know you have some judges' feedback stuff.
But I always think most judges, like you said, Linda, can be nice. So they're they don't give proper critique, and we didn't want to. We were trying to just go on what we liked, not talk about anything negative. But I think that that's a massive part of the industry, because you want more people to enter. You want more 100%. People.
We're not trying to restrict people from entering. We're trying to get more people to enter. And the only way you can do that is to help them and build them up, and give them kind of pathways. Like even the stuff that Justin is doing with the Curate Awards, like that, it's like a footy feeder club to us. It's like building up apprentices in regional areas and other areas, and and it was awesome to see Tori take out an award, because she was Curate a couple of years ago. She's entered, she's come up through the ranks, and now she's on the awards trail, and she'll it's also why we introduced a few years ago the pathway, because now you can only be in certain categories for a certain period of time. You have to go up.
So I have two things on that. So the first one that in my head was that what people don't realise, I think if you make finalist, and obviously I've made finalists lots, and I made finalists loads more before I won. I didn't even make finalists when I was entering, but I think that you get the same amount of publicity making finalists as you do winning. Really?
Well, you get a lot longer as well. We give you months to try and push that and promote that. And I think as well, we do send out, Joe, who works for us, with all of our awards actively, which I think is something that does really make a massive difference. We had Scott on Sunrise,
which
on the
great.
Wednesday. I think we've just got Danny Blakely and Yoshiko. She's just been in the Sydney Morning Herald. We are actively working on, and that's not just about the individuals. For me, that's always been about raising the profile of the industry and hairdressing, and trying to get people to go, oh my God, that's a really cool career. Maybe I'll do that. So that's why we do that. And, we're always looking for ways to, you know, we have to change things sometimes because you just go with the flow and you bring in new categories and all those kind of things. But it has to come back to the individuals and trying to get them the most that they can get out of that. They get their own press releases, they get all that stuff. And that's really, really important. So when we get a win like that and we get, you know, a 5-minute section on Sunrise, that's massive. Like, that's millions of people that see.
What have you got there? Oh, look. There it is. He normally sleeps with that. The other thing
you need another one because we've changed it. So it's like
really?
you're the OG vintage one.
I've got one of them.
I was hoping for Hall of Fame this year. I thought, wow, she's taking me to an event. She's saying, hey, come to this
Are
event.
you old enough? Yes, I think you might
No,
be.
Probably not. No, I'm 54.
So what do you say?
I haven't done enough. It's not
You
my
look a
age.
lot younger
It's not my
now,
age. I
you've
just haven't
taken-
done enough.
no.
What are you saying
You
about
suddenly
Lorna?
dropped 10 years without your beard, so
Yeah, that's a
maybe put
mistake.
it back
Don't
and
worry,
then
I'll
you'll
put
be
it
old
back
enough
on.
for Hall of
It'll
Fame.
be back by Wednesday, I promise.
What are you saying about Lorna? Is she that old?
No, she's not.
Okay,
She looks
good.
amazing.
She does, and very
Good out.
very worthy winner. And the other thing I would say that for me was because obviously in the UK, if you win 3, that's how you do get into Hall of Fame. So like for the New
Yeah,
Zealand
it's a
people with
different
someone
one.
like Danny, who is so dominating, is that that would be my argument for that one.
So we introduced. So
I'm not
Hall
saying
of
that I
Fame
want to
is-
get into Hall of Fame.
No. Hall of Fame was all. I mean, he got Hall of Fame. Hall of Fame was all about.
Really
You
good.
know, it's someone
Yeah.
that's, you know. You never know. You never know. You know what you need to do. I mean, the way that we choose Hall of Fame is everyone that enters is able to nominate. So we look at all those nominations. We look at. Sometimes people just email me and go, I've got an idea, and then I look at that, and that's across all of them, across hair and beauty, because we've obviously got the humanitarian one as well. We did, with the British ones, it's good because that's how they get into it, just by winning it through. We do the honour roll, so with the honour roll, you get your medal of honour.
I have one of them.
He's taking this down, by the way. The guy is desperate
got
to win
one of
another award. He's
well,
like, I've retired,
I'm-
but give me Hall of Fame. That's the only reason why he's here. No.
Next year, I'm going to suddenly see all these nominations for Stevie English,
No.
Stevie English, Stevie English.
And it's all my team. Please, the boss. Just no.
Can they put me if they don't?
Yeah, we'll get Pete.
Look, it's a lovely thing. It's like one of those. I know it sounds really cliched, but it's kind of like, you know, it is my favourite bit when I look out at everybody and just like it's a very privileged position to be in, to kind of give, because I am sitting in a chair and I have got a beanie and I'm trying to do the theme thing. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing, and it's a privilege to sort of, I guess, create a lot of joy. Like, you know,
special
in
recognition,
times
I think,
that
is
are
probably the
tough.
most prestigious one, if I'm going to be fair. Like, special rec is a good one to get.
Yes,
Which one?
definitely.
Special recognition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
special recognition, absolutely. Because you're special.
Yeah.
That was what you wanted.
You can recognise that.
Yeah, you had to get the special one.
Yeah. Along with who won men's specialist?
Men's specialists.
Yeah, I've got to
Yeah.
know about that
Yeah.
too. Can I say it's one thing, like had like the feedback afterwards, because I've never really experienced this before. I sat down on a table and I'm like, hi, how are you? Introduced, and the first thing out of someone's mouth was, you put me second. I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's only because Stevie put you first. And she's like, Stevie didn't put me first either. And I'm like, okay, cool. You know who I'm talking to, by the way. Love you. I had a ball on the table. But it's kind of wild when, like, I guess when people, like, they put themselves out there and you have that recognition. And I understand now why you would do that with all the judges. But I guess for me, the most important thing I'd love to know is giving these guys heaps and heaps of feedback at the end, so they don't walk away from here disillusioned about what could they have done better or what didn't, not knowing what they have to do better next time.
Yeah.
Which is fair.
Totally.
Yeah. For me, the one surprising one, I love the fact that Scott won. I think that was my pick, but it was so different. So I thought that was awesome that he got it, and it made me restore all my faith in.
Well, cutting,
like,
it was more because a lot in the
Yes.
last few years, a lot of hairdressing collections that have won, I would have said were avant-garde more than hair, right?
Yeah.
So, so for Scott to win, for me, it was a 3-horse race in Australian, but any of those 3 I thought could have won, and D for mine was just out. that would have
Yeah,
been.
I
So
had Dean, but
you
yeah,
had
yeah.
Dean, but I thought, yeah, Pauline, Scott, and B were the three, and you don't have to say in which order they were.
Can I? Yeah,
Because I
just
won't.
blink, blink twice, blink twice. The other one that I found intriguing, and this is no disrespect to the winner or anything like that, was the AI one.
Oh yeah, we were super into that category
That
too.
was so into that category this year because
Yeah.
I was amazed that
it doubled in numbers this year.
But what's
And look,
AI?
it's a
Like,
fun
what does it
one,
mean?
and there was a lot of controversy around it. But it's like, you know what? It's here. It's coming. Have some fun. The interesting thing in that is that it's not all hairdressers that enter. You know, that we had a photographer that entered. We have, you know, somebody that's like graphic designer. Like it's not all anybody can enter it. And I think talking to those,
really?
oh,
Yeah,
Stevie, you could
yeah.
get that one.
Right, okay.
Oh, we're gonna do an
Yeah.
AI one.
Yeah,
Can we do
it together? Camp chair chat.
Yes.
It takes a lot to do. Like, I do think
We'll
you
be the
need
judge
to
of that,
have
thanks,
that,
Linda.
you know, hours and hours and hours
We've got
of
Georgia
doing
here.
it.
She does all our editing. I'm sure she'll be able to whip that up for us.
There you go. There you
How
go.
close was Hayley Mears? How close was she to winning it?
Not telling you
Oh,
anything.
come on.
I can't
Okay,
tell
because it
you.
was sort of
But
that
we-
one was really different to everything else. So I kind of
Yeah.
really, it was really such a. I was intrigued.
That was a smart
by it.
one. I thought Haley's shows you what you can use AI for as a brand, which was good. Whereas
Which I loved. Like, I loved it. I mean, all of it, when they came in, I'm fascinated by them, and you know, because I know how much work goes into telling it, because it's all about the prompts, right? So it's like saying, no, you need to, you know, change those two hairs to a curve, or like, it's insane how much time it takes to do. And then also sort of now with the styling side of it and everything, and I think they were all amazing. Look, it's one of those ones where, and I always say to people, if you're unsure how the judges are going to judge, if you look at the category description, that if the judges are not sure what
Like
to
read
do,
it.
or if they've got a few at the top and it's like, which one do I give the top one to, they will always refer back to what that description is. And that's across business awards as well, where they need to then look at what they're trying to achieve. You know, I think and look, it's, again, that's why we have so many judges. When you've got 80 judges, you're going to get some people that just love it to be really out there and something that you can't create with hair. And then there's going to be other ones that want to do it to make it look as real as possible, because that's also the beauty of AI. And it's almost like there's no holds bars on that one. And so you get this wealth of of talent that's just insanely good, and it's a fun one for me. I think it's just, you know,
it was good.
it's
And actually,
amazing.
like, I used to use AI images to then try and how can I do that with actual hair?
Yeah, right.
So that
Other
was
way
like,
around.
I think Bernie and I had a collection, and we were going to call it AI, but we actually called it, used those initials, but she's much better at remembering the names. I'm not. But I've always used Photoshop, obviously, but also
Because you can't cut hair. That's it.
well, I can't. Cut your lunch, though.
I can't colour hair, so it's fine.
Maybe you should enter Master Cutter.
No,
Just
I
to show
was
everyone.
actually very happy to see Ryan King win that.
And you didn't jinx him. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I thought
I was equally. I was happy for Josh as well, because Josh has entered for 100 years.
yes.
And managed to pull up with Avant-Garde, which actually this year was like really close. So
That was a really good. I couldn't pick that category.
No, it was a tough one, and
Yeah.
again, because it's like you kept saying, it's subjective, and it is. But yeah, look, I think there was you know, again, I keep saying it's a competition. It's, you know, there's going to be a winner.
Yeah.
But I think if you're smart about it and you do utilize that finalist status as much as you possibly can, it's why we sent the photos. It's why we sent the decals. They've all got their finalist stickers on their windows. It's, you know,
Which is really nice. Which is really good. You know.
just as kind of, which we haven't done before, but it was like, what can we do? Because I want to do more for them. Because then it's like you get the night and then you've got the winner. So at least they've still kind of got that, and they can look at it, and we were happy with it. We've moved on to the next one.
Yeah.
So now we're just kind of, but yeah, Joe will be working hard to sort of try and get as much publicity and PR as possible for all of the winners, which is cool. yeah, we'll just try and get back. Usually the week after is all a bit of a blur for us because there's just a lot going on.
Cool.
But yeah, it's so it's quite nice to sit out on a chair on a day.
On a camp chair.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
it.
At least it can. I'm outside. At least you're inside.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, it's like 3 degrees.
Yeah,
when
do you
it
know
is,
the camp chair chats?
we didn't even come up like
it was. We were there doing. We didn't come up with the name beforehand, but we were so cold, and we were in these chairs that's how it sort of
we're
came
sitting
about.
there, so we just put them up, and like because they're a bit warm, and then we're like camp chair chats. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Well, hey,
Cool.
thank you so much for joining. Thank you for
Thank you
an
guys. It's been
absolutely
really
awesome
fun.
event.
Thanks.
So you got beauty now, yeah? If you need someone to critique all the beauty
Do
stuff,
you want us to
like,
do beauty?
hit us up.
Do you want to enter beauty, Stevie?
What is it like? Best waxing?
You could be in the beauty squad. We do that the same as Hot Shots. I
Oh,
think you're too old. You're definitely too old for that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
Don't put him in that house.
I am very old.
We could
We're all
we could
very
run a
old.
betting syndicate
Let's
over there.
just-
Though.
Yeah.
If you want us to run a betting syndicate on your night, like hit us up and I mean,
Yeah.
We'll take
I
people's
don't
money.
quite know how you would judge that. I think we'll stick to creative with you two.
Yeah.
You can do the Barbara ones maybe for next year.
Yep, absolutely.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Linda.
Thanks for
Thank
doing this.
you.
It's been fun. I loved it. Thank you.
Cheers.
Awesome.